Hey everyone, so in this video I'm going to share some simple tips with you on how you can draw or sketch the figure in dramatic poses in a very simple way. Now, of course, you can sketch the figure as simple as just using a stick figure, you know. But see, the thing is with this is that it doesn't necessarily allow you to sketch the figure moving through space that easily because you're just using a line, and it's hard to tell just using a line if it's moving forward or backwards. However, if you use a simple form such as a cylinder, now it allows you to be able to show that this cylinder is moving into space, see, like that, because now you are saying that it's moving away from you. And of course you can change it also and say it's moving this way, see. So now you have the advantage of doing that, and that's the advantage of using simple forms. So what I encourage is being able to, or trying to sketch a figure just using a simple form such as an egg or cylinder or cylindrical form, or you can think of it like a capsule, something like this. Right? And the other tip is to use something such as a center line. So I'm using a horizontal center line and I'm using a vertical center line. Okay. Now, the advantage of this is that now you can, and of course you can use this with pencil or with pen. And as a matter of fact, I would even encourage you to use it with pen, because with pen it enables you to be free with it without thinking about erasing and stuff like that. Because that's something that can really take away from the creative process when you're stopping to erase and so on. So just use a pen. It kind of forces you to move forward and focus on the essence of what you're doing and not the minute details, right? So even just drawing, I'll show you the advantage of using the center lines, the vertical and horizontal center lines. Even if I were to draw a shape like this, and I'm going to try to duplicate that shape, let's just assume that it's essentially the same shape, right? Now, you cannot sense the space here in terms of the depth or volume so much. But if I do this, see, now I have changed the way you experience these shapes, see? So now, for example, if this were a face, we can say this one is looking like that, this one's looking up, let's say this is a nose, this one's looking down, and this one is looking straight forward, see? So I have just changed the way you experience these basic shapes just by putting in a vertical center line and a horizontal center line. And that's the advantage of something like that. It enables you to be able to convey things in space. Now, applying this to the figure, let's say here we have like a capsule. I'm going to divide this into 3 parts, and I'm going to use the upper part as the this is the torso, and here we have the neckline. This would be for the arms, and then we put a center line here. Center line continues to the pelvis, and here we have, and that's all you need, in addition to cylinders for the arms and legs, and that's it. Something as simple as that. So if we're going to set up a model, then it will look something like this. We have an ovoid kind of a form, egg-like, you know, and there are the center lines, so you know that this head is looking that way, see? And you can use this one that looks something like this, and don't you know, bother yourself too much about it looking perfectly symmetrical, or concern yourself too much with proportions. This is a third and this is 2/3, and I think that's pretty much okay to work with. And this is the same as the head, and so on. And after a while, you do this enough by looking at the human figure, eventually you will tend to start getting the proportions correctly, because you know, subconsciously we're all machines or masters of detecting proportion. And here we have this one. And you see the curve at the end tells you where is it pointing to, or where, in what direction. By having it curve this way, you know that it's going away. By having it curve otherwise, you know it's facing to you, see? And just like that, you have a human figure. See, now you don't have to concern yourself with detail so much. You're just trying to get yourself familiar with putting the figure in dramatic poses. Now I'm going to use the same little formula, and I'm going to actually sketch 3 figures here, and you'll see it in dramatic poses that you can read pretty well, and just by using these simple basic forms here. All right, and of course using the center line and the horizontal and vertical center line, it helps to determine or tell you the orientation of the forms. Okay, and another thing too that's useful to think of is to imagine them as being transparent, as if you can see through them. All right, so I'm going to actually just do it with colored ink so you can see each example differently, but just look at the way that I'll be able to sketch a figure in a very simple way that I'm sure you'll be able to do with practice. And there you have it, 3 simple examples of how you can sketch the figure in really dynamic poses. And as I said, the advantage of using this very simple technique is that you're using basic forms that you can basically orient in different positions, advancing into space and out of space. And you can use these center lines that will also help you to orient the figure in space as well. So really simple examples, and I hope you'll be able to have a lot of fun with this. I've used a simple technique to sketch hundreds of figures. So I'm sure you'll be able to have fun, and it's manageable, and it's something that is accessible, I think, by most people. So, you know, with a little practice, you'll get a handle on it, and at this point, it will set the foundation for you to be able to do more advanced drawings and more poses. So have fun, and thanks so much for watching, guys.